Hey guys, Rob Adams here from Shutter Mag. Thanks again for reading the article once again this month. I wanted to talk a little bit about the two styles of 3-axis gimbals that are available out there. By reading the article, you should know by now that I'm pretty much still set on the glide cam. I'm still a glide cam guy. I like to use a traditional stabilizer like this for my wedding work. Not because the brushless gimbals aren't great. They're phenomenal. They're fantastic in so many ways. They're really versatile. They can do some really complex movements. I think they're fantastic on like corporate film shoots, feature work, where you have a lot of time to plan a shot, set it up, and you have grips and other assistants around to maybe help out. In my style of work, when I'm shooting a wedding, I'm running and gutting constantly. So I don't have time to carry around a stand and put down the brushless gimbal, because you can't set it on the ground because you'll hurt the motors. So I need something that's a little bit more durable, that can take a little bit more abuse and still get me nice, smooth, fly, glide shots. And I get that perfectly with this. This is just the GlideCam Devon Graham series. It's the upgraded model from their HD 4000. It's got some new features that allows you to adjust the balance without having to undo all the screws. Here you just kind of turn these two knobs and you can adjust your balance. Now it does take practice to learn how to balance one of these, and it took me a lot of time of using it to really master the art of getting a smooth shot with this. But it is worth the investment in time when you consider that this is an $800 piece of equipment versus the least expensive brushless gimbal out there that I would consider would be the Ronin, and that's going to run you somewhere right around the $2,500 to $3,000 mark, somewhere in that range. So, that's a pretty big jump, and I have to consider the return on investment. If I spend that much on a brushless gimbal, am I going to be able to charge my clients more money? Am I going to be able to make more money from my wedding films because I'm purchasing that piece of equipment? The answer to me is just no. It's not going to make that much difference in my work because I'm proficient with using this device. So for me and a lot of other guys out there who are used to using these traditional stabilizers, we've chosen to stick with this. It is worth the time and investment if you invest a couple of weeks worth of practice, rebalancing and unbalancing this. You'll get a feel for how it works, and you can really get some nice shots, especially if you're a DSLR shooter. I'm shooting with the C100 here, which is a much heavier camera than a DSLR, and to have it balanced on the GlideCam makes it a little bit heavier than it would be with a DSLR. But with a DSLR, these are extremely light, they're portable, you can easily take the camera on and off, it's easy to rebalance. The Devon Graham series GlideCam even has little markings on the quick release plate and on the center column here, so you can easily get your camera back into a balanced position once you've taken it apart. Whereas the brushless gimbals, they are self-balancing once you get them set correctly. There is a little bit more time that needs to be invested in getting one of those to be perfectly balanced to where it's not going to give you any problems whatsoever. So my experience with the brushless has been they're really cool, but I really just, for my wedding work, based on cost, based on return on investment, I just stick with the traditional stabilizers. So I would just ask you to ask yourself, if you're in the market for a brushless, what are you buying it for? Are you buying it because it's a cool device and you want to own one? If so, and that floats your boat, great. But if you're trying to make money and you're in business and you're a filmmaker doing weddings or in events or even corporate work, you have to ask yourself, what's the use case? What do I really need this for? And I think a lot of times we get wrapped up in gear purchases based on want, not out of need. And it's worth noting that even though the brushless gimbals are easy to pick up and run with and you can get a smooth shot, certainly, to use it in a practical application like on a job and really know your focus, it takes the same amount of time to learn something like this. So I'm just advocating for this only because it works well in my situation as a wedding filmmaker, and I would just hope that you guys make the decision that's right for you and your business. So thanks so much for reading the article, thanks for watching the video, and we'll see you next month in Shutter Mag.